Yo, Justin, have you ever had a near-death experience?
I haven't had a near death experience, but I definitely had something where if one little thing went wrong, it could have went completely different.
What was that little thing?
So this was actually me and Michelle's first ever trip abroad. We were broke college kids at the time, and I thought it was a great idea to go to Guatemala. Well, we did Belize first and then Guatemala. And so we were in Guatemala. Again, I don't speak Spanish. Michelle doesn't speak Spanish. So we're trying to talk to this negotiator, let's call him this, about this overnight bus that we're supposed to take. And so we take this overnight bus into, I believe, these from Tikal, which is a very north part of Guatemala. There's like a bunch of ancient ruins up there, which is really dope. If you ever go there, you should definitely check it out. To, I believe, like Guatemala City, like the city center. And it's like an 8 hour bus ride. So we're there taking this bus. And we get off this bus. It's mainly Americans or like Americans, Europeans, things like people like that. We get off this bus. Everybody's going to this van on the left, and we start following everyone. And then there's one van on the right that's like one of those really sus white vans that you literally tell yourselves never to get into, right? And the guy next to that van goes, Justin, we're looking for Justin. And I'm like, that's me. Again, I'm like 19, maybe 20 years old at this time. So me and Michelle take our stuff. We go into this van thinking that some other people are going to be going into this van with us. Um, no one does. It ends up just being me and Michelle, and we're in this mysterious white van. Thankfully, apparently, we had set up like private transport to get to our hotel at the time, which I didn't know what we were signing up for. But you can clearly see how that could have went completely sideways, and we might not be here today. But thankfully, we are. And shout out to Guatemala for keeping us safe. But yeah, I would highly suggest not getting into a sus white van in a country that you do not speak the native language in.
Oh my God, that's scary. Like you just like called your name as if he knew you were who you were and you got lured into his van. But how did so basically like the private transport found you? Like they were like looking for you and that's how they found you in the white van. How did you get out of that white van?
Yeah. I mean, like, very similar to imagine if you've ever been to an airport where you've arranged like private transportation before. I'm not sure if you ever have, but like when I did my speaking engagement in Dubai, this was the first time. This was actually like really dope. Where I get off of the plane and like I get ready to get my bags, and like there's a guy holding like Justin Win on a sign. I'm like, oh, this is pretty dope. Like, this is for me, which is really cool, right? To see. It wasn't that lavish. Obviously, like we're coming off a bus after a 9 hour drive, and he was just saying like, Justin Win, like looking for Justin, yada yada yada. And I was like, oh, that's me. I'm trustworthy that you're saying my name, so it's like you know me, I think, or someone knows me. And yeah, I mean, we took the risk, and thankfully we're still here. But that definitely could have just ended up a completely different way. And there's other stories that happened during that Guatemala trip, or Belize and Guatemala trip, that again could have went sideways very quickly if we were just picked up by the wrong type of persona. But thankfully, again, we didn't, and it was ended up being a great time.
Wow, so that white van basically pretended to be your private driver.
I mean, they were my private driver, but like it could have easily not have been. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like how many times have we watched a movie where that leads a completely different scenario? And
Yeah.
that was actually the second time where I had to do something sus on that trip. And this is a completely wrong tangent of what this podcast is about, right? But if you're just listening, this is what Grace and I do. So earlier in that trip, we had to cross the border from Belize into Guatemala. And me being the idiot that I am, I left our passports at the border. So we get back on the bus to cross the border, and we're probably like 20 minutes into the drive. And I'm like looking for my passport, like, oh shoot, like I don't have my passport. And the bus driver only speaks Spanish. So I try to find someone that speaks Spanish that's on the bus to stop the bus and asked for it to turn around, but like we're on a mountain. We can't turn a coach bus around at this time. So this guy that speaks Spanish waves down this random kid on like a moped and basically tells him to drive me back to the border, get my passport, and bring me back. Mind you, again, me and Michelle were broke, so we didn't even buy eSIM cards or SIM cards at the time to be even communicating. So we're just like only going off of whenever we get Wi-Fi to send an iMessage back to each other. There's no Wi-Fi anywhere in these forests of Guatemala. So I'm probably gone for like 30, 45, almost an hour long trying to get my passports. This guy at the passport thing will not give me my passports back, even though I can literally see that the passports are right there next to him. Finally does get back on the moped and get back onto the bus, and we make it to call safely. The crazier part is I swear to God that next day when we were in Tikal, like at the park, I saw that same kid that brought me to the border to pick up my passport and come back. And I just got so scared. I was like, yo, are we like marked? Because the from the border to where we ended up being, I think it was like a 4 hour trek. Like it wasn't close. So the chances of me seeing the same exact person is like super slim, right? But I swear to God it was him. But again, thankfully nothing bad happened. We are here. We survived. But like looking back on that, specifically that Belize to Guatemala trip, which again was our first ever trip, a lot of things could have went sideways very quickly.
Wow, and this is your first ever international trip in a foreign country where you don't know anyone, you don't speak the language. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
so great that you made it out alive. Like I would just be freaked out in that situation.
Yeah, I don't know. I just
Mm.
had this mindset of like we'll be fine, we'll be okay. And it got us through. Yeah, that was our first ever like non like by ourselves trip that we'd ever done abroad. Again, we picked Belize and Guatemala because we were gonna go to Bali. But the tickets went from like 650 to like 1,000 plus bucks per person. And we're like, okay, we're not gonna do that. So we took a Spirit flight to Belize and Guatemala. Shout out Spirit back in the day. But yeah, that trip was full of like they weren't near death experiences because like we weren't close to being death or thankfully, but again, those could have easily turned into a kidnapping story or anything like that just from how sus of the things that we got ourselves into. Or I got
Wow.
us into honestly because it was mainly me, not really Michelle.
Damn. That's all. Yeah, I almost got kidnapped in China, but it's not of an interesting story. I was just like
Yeah, well, wait,
by
what about
myself.
you? Like, what have you had any like near death experiences?
I feel like I really don't like jaywalking, but the times that my friends peer pressured me into jaywalking, we almost got hit by a car a couple of times. That's why I never jaywalk. I don't care. Take like 5 minutes more. So that's why like if I'm running with a group or walking with people, if they want to jaywalk, I will never jaywalk with them. Just because I almost got hit by a car a couple of times and it's kind of traumatizing. Um, what else? What else? Yeah. I almost got kidnapped in China. Like, so when I was in college, I probably looked like I was like in middle school or something. And like, I don't know, I was like walking by myself in China. I passed by this alleyway, and a couple times these random men asked me if I wanted to ride their motorcycle. So I responded in my broken Chinese saying no, but I shouldn't have opened my mouth because my accent sounds very American and very
Mm,
Taiwanese at the same time, which a lot of Chinese they don't really like Taiwanese sometimes. Well, some Chinese people. So I realized that's not like that safe. I just like ran away because I was a cross country track runner. I was a D1 cross country track runner, so I just ran away.
yeah,
Um,
that's crazy.
yeah. So I was just like I don't know. I like exploring a lot. At that time, I was waking up at like 5 6 a.m. My family was still obviously sleeping. I was just like, oh, just go and explore, la 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 la. Yeah, near death. I knock on wood. There's probably tons of times where I was like running and almost fell off the mountain or hiking. Oh, when I was climbing Yosemite Half Dome. So I just kind of raw dogged it. Like my friends and I decided to like spontaneously go on a trip to Yosemite. Didn't really prepare, but I run regularly, so like that's why I was okay. doing it, but my shoes were like kind of slippery and I almost slipped off the mountain so many times. Oh, yeah, okay. So specifically, like we were like going up it was like a 17-mile hike, half up, half down. Um, it was like blazing hot. We basically like ran out of water, but thankfully some friendly strangers, shout out to Gabe, saved us with their extra water they had and water filter they brought. And second thing is I almost slipped off a mountain like over 30 times. And also like my friend Jisun, he like twisted his ankle 3 times. He thought he broke it. He basically broke it. And it was like broken for months after that.
Oh my
And I
god.
didn't want to leave him behind, so I stayed with him, but we were like obviously going really slow. So the time he twisted his ankle the third time, the sun was setting. We still got like 5-6 miles to go, and the sun was setting, and there's like switchbacks. So he called 911. 911 answered, the SOS answered. We barely had signal, but we had SOS on our phone. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna be there in like 4 hours," and Jason was like, "Oh, my legs are good. I can walk." So he walked. Uh, and then the last like 5 miles or so, it was like pitch black. It was switchbacks, like keep going zigzag back and forth. There's so many slippery walks and narrow ways. And thankfully, I didn't bring any headlights because I thought we were gonna finish on time. I didn't know. I didn't prepare for the hike. At least I didn't bring enough water. I didn't bring enough food. I didn't bring a light. I just used my cell phone light. I tied it like I put it like where my pants go and just like had it like in my belly, just like walking. Cause I was just like, I need my hands free in case I fall. I need like grip to something. So I had that, and then thankfully we almost got lost. We almost turned the wrong way. Thankfully, we ran into two other friendly men from Germany. And they were like at first they were like going pretty fast down, and then they got kind of worried. They didn't see us, so they went back and found us. They had flashlights and guided us back. They're like hiking veterans. They guided us back. So we finally made it down to the bus stop. So me and Jisun did. I think Iris also went with another group too. Um, and yeah, we finally, and then like we made it back to the RV with our other buddies like Justin, Ashcon, and Julia. So like they were just like worried like hell about us. We finally got back, and I just like screamed so loud about I'm so excited to be back. I kissed the ground. I'm just like I society. Oh my god, society. Yeah, so that's like half the
No, that's
experience.
insane. That is insane. That I
True.
mean, that is like I feel like a true near death story. Like mine is it could have went bad if again a completely different factor played into the role. Yours is like you guys were low key running out of water, right? Like you guys could have been stranded out there. So that's insane. How does this all relate to how creators make money? Bring us all
Yeah.
back, Grace.
I know. I asked you the question because I really kind of went on a little tangent, but I found a creator, Jonathan Katz Moses. He's a woodworking creator, but his story is amazing. I first found him because if you listen to earlier episode, we interviewed Megan Lycap from Slow Ventures Creator Fund. Jonathan Katz Moses is the first creator they've invested in. So Slow Ventures invested $2 million in Jonathan to help build his woodworking patents, and machine shops. Um, and he has like a whole team of 15 employees, but his story is really inspirational. So um back about 10 years ago, he had a near death experience. He was attacked by a group of gang members who were slowly fleeing the streets of Santa Barbara. They almost killed him. Had got like 80 stitches in the hospital. His eye socket was broken. He got 80 stitches, was in hospital for months. And at that time, after he healed, he decided he didn't want to do anything that didn't bring him joy anymore. And so he quit his bartending job and quit his construction job, and he had $15,000 in his bank account and went all in on woodworking, which is what he's really passionate about. He's like doing so amazing today with woodworking, but his start was just $15,000 in a bank account. Quit his job, and just had this near death experience, questioning life at its whole, and realizing that life is so short, it can really end any time. Like he was literally walking his dog on the street, and he got punched by gang members, which led him to the hospital in 80 stitches. And that is like really like scary to think about. Like you can just be walking the street, and like a gang member can ruin your life. Given that chances are really low, but you never know. So I also resonate with that. Like I had like a near death experience in my family that made me like quit my job too. So I really respect Jonathan a lot for making that decision. But his journey is really awesome. Like I watched this YouTube video like of him just talking about his story. So after he started his machine shop, he started to post on YouTube and grew a following of loyally loyal woodworking fans. Have you ever done any woodworking?
Like is woodworking wood shop kind of?
Yeah, kind of. You make all tools, you make stuff out of wood, like chairs, but also little trinkets.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I did this. So at my high school, we had a class called wood shop. So I took it, I think for like 2 quarters or two half for like a full year, I would say actually. It was pretty good. I hurt myself a little bit sometimes, but it was fun.
I also took woodshop too in middle school. I took it for like 2 quarters, 2 semesters too, and I loved it. But woodworking is like woodshop on steroids. So Jonathan built a whole warehouse, but he also got kicked out of some other warehouses, had to restart over again. Like he basically like every time he went to a new wood shop, which he did like 3 times, he had to like use all of his savings, all of his earnings to invest in this new um warehouse office because he kept
You're talking
expanding,
about like
getting
when he
bigger.
builds out like a
His
warehouse or a
warehouse.
studio or something like that, right?
Yeah, his studio. Like he started over like had to start over like 3 times. He kept expanding and expanding, and landlords kicking him out and stuff. But every time he does that, he uses all of his life savings, all of his business earnings to do that. And I just feel like it takes some level. It takes a high level of like desire and a bit delusionalness to really focus on that, like woodworking and wanting to make it work, to make it happen, which is awesome because now I feel like he's making so much. He's like his income is so diverse. So he has like YouTube channel doing woodworking stuff. He has like a Patreon. He has he has a charity to help disabled people do woodworking. He has like patents. He incubates creator products. Helping creators enable like he has like his studio. He be able to like partner with creators and do that too. Um, he has 15 employees, giving them all healthcare too. And he also received a $2 million investment from Slow Ventures to help build all of that. Um, so yeah, I feel like he's like doing really well in life, but he had such a like a journey to get where he is today.
That's fascinating. Like how much is a guy like this making?
I couldn't
If you had
find
to
any
guess.
specific numbers, but I know he recently got $2 million in investment. But before, when he all started, he only had $15,000 in the bank. But he has so many products on his YouTube and his store. Let me pull it up. Um,
Do you
his store.
think that you could go all in that way?
I think so. I feel like if someone really believes in what they do and really have something they want, and I feel like a near death experience is a great catalyst for helping you focus on what your life passion is about. I think they can do it. How about you?
I I don't think I could do it in the way of dumping all of my savings into something, if that makes sense.
Mm.
I'm a little risk adverse in that way. But what I would say is when my back is against the wall, I typically perform better. And the example that I'll give is like when I had a like not even a lot of money, but it was like 10 grand in my bank account when I was graduating, like when after I graduated college, like off of internship money and everything like that that I'd saved up. I was feeling pretty good leaving like college, so to say, and like going off on my own. But I didn't really do anything for like the first year. I was like still working my part-time job at Universal, making like $14 an hour or whatever. And that plus my savings that I initially had started to dwindle come month 8, 9, 10. And that's when I really started to like get success with declassified because I started to put more effort in terms of like, yo, like Justin, you need to start making some money or you can't pay rent type vibe, right? And so like that's my only example that I've had of like being able to go all in, but I don't know if I could dump all of Declassified's bank account into something right now. I don't,
Hmm.
I can't confidently say I could do that. Could you do that with Design Buddies? Let's just say you wanted to launch like a completely new product or something like that, and you had to dump the whole Design Buddies bank account into it.
No, not at all. Like, I personally believe in diversifying your skill sets, diversifying things you do, just like you diversify your investments. But I have a lot of respect for people who found their life's calling and act on it. I just haven't found my life calling yet. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I could feel that. I could say I feel that too. But yeah, I haven't found the thing that I'd be willing to risk it all for. Like I'm more of a gradual like growth type of person, not a yo, let's just burn the boats and dump everything into something right now. But I do respect the people that do. Like every time Elon talks about like dumping all his money from one venture into another, I think that's like really dope. Obviously that's a different scale than what we're talking about, but yeah, I don't think I could do that right now in any of the stuff that I'm working on.
Yeah, me neither. That's crazy. Cause I feel like sometimes in Silicon Valley, to have that level of delusion takes a lot. Like, I wonder how people find their life's calling. Some people find it when they're early. Some people never find it. Some people find it when they're old. Some I don't know. Like, I feel like everyone's timeline is so different, and just because you don't have a life's calling doesn't mean you can't live a meaningful life too. Like, I feel like people can enjoy life doing many different things, not just focus on one thing. It's really interesting because
Mm.
I feel like in LA, people do so many things and they seem to enjoy it. Well, then I realized it's because acting, entertainment doesn't pay very well, so they have to do a lot of things. That's why LA people do a lot of things.
So like
Versus,
what when you're doing this research, is there anything that you like picked up that was like really interesting to you?
yeah, he has like a nonprofit. Like, he, I feel like he has a big heart. Honestly, like he started from nothing, um, grew his YouTube. Like Jonathan started from nothing, like barely anything. Grew a whole warehouse from just $15,000, his whole life savings, and then became really successful, but also like kept starting over. But he also like has a nonprofit to help disabled people do woodworking, so he's like really passionate about that. Thought that was awesome. And it's like I feel like it's interesting because he has like a really niche audience, woodworking, which is maybe not super niche. I feel like it's kind of niche, like just people who like making stuff with wood. And there's like his whole shop has there's like hundreds of items in here that he patented, like hundreds of items that he sells that he makes in his wood shop. Um, I think he makes them all in his wood shop. Actually, these are like tools to help people make wood creations. Just having that niche audience versus I feel like more and more times like I've been hearing this discussion all over LA saying that it's important to like the lifestyle creator is kind of dying. People like it when creators have niche communities, and Jonathan is like a perfect example of this.
Yeah, I think niche is so interesting to me because I agree with you. I feel like the lifestyle creator, especially for guys, like I think is gone. I think girls, it's a little bit more prevalent than guys are in terms of being able to make it that way. I think we went from these very broad creators, right? Let's call it beginning of content world 2008, 2010, 2014-ish, where you had like the Nigahigas, the Logan Pauls, those types of creators who were very broad. You could call them lifestyle creators, comedy creators, right? That their audience was pretty much anybody could watch it and like. And then now we're starting to see very niche creators, right? That are starting to blow up, likely because they started when like a while ago and it's like taking time for exponential growth to hit. People like this in the woodworking space. You've got like epic gardening, right? I know golf is really popping off right now and things of that nature, which I think is great. My concern with all of that, though, especially those that have built it around like their personal brand, is like what happens again, kind of like alluding to our conversation with Megan, that is the episode right before this one. Like, what happens when that creator gets bored, right? Like, if you're within the niche, I think it's very hard to transition out of it. We've seen some creators do it, but we've likely haven't heard of all the creators that haven't been able to do it, right? And their content's just kind of stuck and they're not getting the same views that they would get, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And I don't know what happens in the future. I think it's really interesting, and I think that's when you have to be very strategic in terms of the way that you build your brand and understanding like, is this really something that I want to do for the rest of my life? Or is this something that is kind of like a 5, 10 year plan? And that transition after that 5, 10 year plan, I think we're just starting to see what happens because this is like the first period of these creators that are quote unquote maybe getting bored of their previous or their content essentially or the content niche that they were in that made them famous. And we'll see who's able to make that transition or not.
Yeah, I remember yesterday we talked about how like in the beginning it was like Beast Burger. It's named after Mr. Beast. Festivals, Mr. Beast. And then we saw like Joywood Snacks by Ryan Trahan, which is not associated with his name, Nami Matcha. Yeah, I feel like it's important for because I feel like creators, some people like do one thing for their life and they become like the best in the whole world about what they do. But I feel like people change, evolve, grow, and I've definitely noticed that myself too, very, very much. Um, because it's important to think about like what is your potential like exit strategy too. Do you want to be bought? Do you want to IPO? Do you want to merge with someone else? And think about like how can your business and your content or your any of your businesses scale without you in there? Unless like it's like hard to know for real. But when I was growing up, I thought I would work on design for the rest of my life. I thought it was my life's mission to help designers land jobs. And now 5 years later, I'm like, I want to be an actor. Um, so yeah, it's important to just like think about your exit plan for creators. If you have a product, how do you like, or your channel, or like a media company, how do you want to scale that beyond yourself? But I think Johnson did a pretty good job. Like he actually has a 15-person team, and his tool company is called KM Tools, which is also named after his name. But I feel like he also partners up with other creators that help them launch products, like woodworking related products in his store. So his brand is like much. I feel like has grown a lot beyond him as well. But it is KM because that's his initials. Um, but yeah, but he seems really cool. I would like to like be his friend one day.
Where is he based? Do you know?
Santa Barbara. I was just in Santa Barbara too this weekend.
Maybe we can find a way to connect with him. The
Yeah, I should DM him
law.
on
What is it?
Instagram.
What's the law of the Kevin Bacon theory or whatever it is? Like you're only 7 degrees of connection from Kevin Bacon or something like that. Have you
Mm-hmm.
ever heard of that before?
I heard of 7 Degrees of Connection, but who's Kevin Bacon?
Kevin Bacon's an actor. I don't know why he got thrown into this theory or not, but like for some reason I always hear about his name when it comes to talking about 7 degrees of connections. But yeah, it's like the whole theory that you're only 7 steps from meeting someone, no matter how famous they are in some way, shape, or form. And I would say even especially like between our two networks, there's got to be like a second or third degree connection that knows him. I mean, obviously Megan, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
they invested in them, but yeah, no, I think that whole world is interesting. I think he's probably like the perfect type of persona for a company like Slow Ventures and Creator Fund, right? Because he's building IP not just within his name, but within different products that he's launching, and he's got his whole warehouse and all the tools that he sells and patents and things like that. Do do you feel that that is where the creator world is heading, or is that only for a select few at the top that really know how to execute?
I feel like it's only selected at the top, to be honest, because it takes a lot of a lot a big level like delusionalist or deluluness and ambition and focus and knowledge and experience to be able to be like a master of your craft and share it. And not a lot of people, just like startup founders. Um, it's very hard to build a unicorn. I feel like it's like a John is like a unicorn creator who found a way to like grow it beyond his business, grow a sustainable revenue stream. He has so many products in his shop. They're doing really well. He's promoting on his YouTube channel. He has a whole team working with him. He got $2 million investment. So I feel like it's like the only top of the top creators can do that if they have like a specific focus and really good at their craft. How about you?
Yeah, I agree. I think again, they're the unicorns of the world. That's what companies like Slow Ventures and Creator Fund are looking for, right? They want to make, at the end of the day, like as much as we love the world of content, when you're in the world of like venture capital, private equity, whatever you want to call it, numbers matter the most. And if you can find a way to return that money on investment, especially if you can get multiples upon multiples of it, then you win in that game of moving money around, right? So yeah, I do think that the the people that we're talking about right now, like those are the unicorns. Now, can I tell you about this girl Tam though? Because I feel like she's a little bit more relatable to the average creator, so to say.
Yeah. I want to hear more about Tam.
So Tam, she's got like, I don't know. I want to say a few million across all platforms. So like she's big, don't get me wrong, but her pathway to making money I think is a lot more relatable to most people. So what I mean by that is, so she's got her YouTube, right, long form, so she's obviously making ad revenue there. She's also got her TikTok and Instagram, so short form, brand deals, things of that nature. She's also got a podcast, right? And I think that is traditional creator, right? YouTube long form, hit the short form content, launch a podcast too if you got time, or maybe you're a streamer, right? I think those are like the four main pillars of when we think about the typical video content creator, that's what they have right now. Now, where I think it gets interesting for her is she's also got a newsletter and blog. So she's able to add some of that, let's just call it old way to monetize, right? Like blogging, newsletter, selling that stuff to affiliate and things of that nature. But her real money maker, which I think stabilizes her as a creator, is her journal, which is really interesting because it's both physical and digital. And it's like, I don't understand the people that buy digital journals. It's like, bro, just make it yourself or like find the template. I don't know. But people buy it. And according to an article that I found from earlier this year, she said that she had already made, I think it was 470,000 pounds, which in US dollars is, let's see, 470 pounds to USD. That's over $633,000 USD, which is like that is a lot of money, right? Especially if you're just shilling journals. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
Where? Oh, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Wait, before we dive into journal, like, what does she make content about? Like, why do you think journals make sense as a product for her?
Here, let me just show you her profile really quick so we can run through it. Um, but also like she was part of Forbes 30 on the 30. I know that's a fun topic that we were talking about a little bit earlier today too. Um, Let me see. We'll pull up her YouTube. All right. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah.
So it's a lot about like self help, teaching the girlies how to close the gap between their current self and desired self. Right. So self help, I would imagine this is very similar to like a Ali Abdal type of persona. Right. Obviously, more geared towards the girl persona. But as you can see, very loud thumbnails. For those who can't see, check us out on Spotify and YouTube so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But some of the titles and thumbnails of her most popular videos, this one has 2.3 million from 2 years ago. It's called How to Validate Yourself. Stop seeking external validation, grow your self-worth. And it's got a thumbnail of her with two other females in the background, and at the top of it it says, I'm a hot girl because I say so. There's another one with 2.2 million views with how to be productive, discipline, healthy habits, motivation, balance, plus that girl. So again, all very self-help type of things, which I think again is why her journal does so well. Because let's see, where does her stand store lead to? Do you watch this content, Grace?
I do. I used to watch a lot of content um like this, but I feel like sometimes it like repeats itself a lot. When I was younger, I definitely watched a lot of self-help content. But then I feel like I like prioritize like tactical content.
Tactical. Okay, so what's the difference do you feel?
I feel like self-help, it's more like, I see it as more like inspirational. Like, oh, you can do it. Don't care about what people think of you. Nothing. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people need that. But I just attended so many conferences, listened to so many talks that I need something tactical. For example, like here's exact tools you need. Here's the exact playbook you need to succeed. Here's how this person succeeded, and exactly what they did. Like something like that's more actionable.
Yeah,
How about
I
you?
feel you. I feel you. I feel like this was me, I want to say, junior year of college to about 1 to 2 years after I graduated college. This is the stuff that I was trying to figure out because it felt like it spoke directly to me, right? Like the
Mm-hmm.
lost college grad that didn't know what to do, but wanted to make money, didn't have a ton of self confidence because he hadn't won yet in anything in life. And like his main identity of soccer was stripped from him because he stopped playing, right? And the self help stuff, whether it's Tony Robbins, Lewis Howes, Gary Vee, those types of personas, like I was binging their stuff back in those days. It was actually terrible. And but here we are now. And like I feel like I'm very similar to you where I'm at that execute stage, right? It's like, okay, I need to figure out like I've made a little bit of money. I've had a great life. I understand where I want to go, but it's how do I get there? And that's sort of the content that I look for. Um, at least for right now. So I think we're very similar in that way. I don't think I would buy something like this, but I mean, she's selling it for $55 right now, which to me is insane for a journal, but people are clearly buying it.
Wow, $55 for journal. Is it like? I guess they have like prompts and stuff and like little workbooks to help you, like bullet journal stuff.
Yeah, she's got two, right? So she's got the obsessed with growth journal and then obsessed with manifesting journal.
Hmm. Manifesting. Yeah, I've met
These
a
are
lot of
so
people who are like manifestation coaches in LA. It's like very woo woo things that my
How do you
frontal
feel
lobe
about the
has to
woo
develop.
woo community? Because you're in
Oh,
California, and I feel like that's the
oh my
capital of the
god.
woo woo stuff.
Yeah. Oh my god. I'm not very woo woo myself. I'm very logical, but I also feel like maybe my frontal lobe is not as developed yet. Like I've noticed like a lot of my friends who are woo woo, they're like in their late 30s and they've been through it. They've been through life. But I also have some friends who are younger than me who are really into woo woo stuff like mushrooms, meditation, spirituality, and maybe I just haven't had to deal. I feel like a lot of people get into woo stuff because they had to deal with a lot of hardship in life. I mean, I had to deal with hardship too, but I feel like I'm not trying to downplay like my own hardship, but it wasn't as like as bad as like a lot of people. Well, I don't say I shouldn't like downplay myself. I feel like something has to happen. Like for example, like my parents became Christian because they had like a life epiphany. They're like they were like in America randomly, well not randomly, but like made it with two suitcases and stuff. And they're like, I believe in God, miracles and stuff. Um, and I feel like spirituality, religion, it's like kind of two different things. I don't really know, but a lot of people are religious too, which is kind of like believing in a spirit or like a God. Um, and I feel like I don't like. I think religion is fine. Like I feel like a lot of people have. It's like a way to bring people together and a way to give people hope, um, and give people like meaning to life. The way like how people are born, how like science or how the world exists is like pretty miraculous. How plants grow, it's like wow, mystery, and like how life happens and stuff, which I kind of get, but I haven't like really tapped into like the woo woo community, and sometimes it's like they're really like touchy feely emotional, you know, like you know those people who are just like really really emotional. It's like really, oh my god, I love your bow.
Yep, I know exactly what
Like
you're
I don't
talking about.
understand what.
I was just
Oh
saying, I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah. It's just like you know those girls. It's just like oh my god, I love your They're like Abigail. Wait, that's like separate than woo though. But I just feel like woo people are like really in touch with their emotions. That's why they're able to express them. And for me, growing up, especially in an Asian household, emotions are supposed to be weak. You're not supposed to show them. You're supposed to be like be accepted and stuff. And long story short, I think that's why I'm not spiritual.
I I think the woo woo community is interesting. Like, definitely not. I'm not a part of it at all. I don't understand it. I don't necessarily agree with it. If you can agree or disagree with it, I guess. But for me, it's interesting from a case study standpoint. Kind of going back to our conversation with Megan, right? Understanding psychology. Those people are buying into something, and you can argue that the woo woo community are some of the biggest consumers ever, right? Whether it's the latest pill or supplement that you can buy that enhances this
Crystals,
thing,
chakras,
crystals, drugs, like whatever it may be, right?
mushrooms.
Exactly. Like you could argue that they're some of the biggest consumers and consumer cults out there, right? So I think it's always interesting to try to understand their perspective or like why they believe in this thing or why they're following this thing or whatever it may be. My personal opinion, I think they're people that just have a little bit too much time on their hands. Um, but like you do with time with what you do. And I think I got nothing against you. I just want to understand why. And so I always love whenever I meet that type of persona to just try to understand why they do what they do. I just haven't talked to too many though, so I don't have a good amount of data or knowledge about it yet.
Yeah, I talked to some. Maybe then I feel like I'm not like some people are really deep thinkers. I look at they're like really really deep thinkers, and they're really in touch with their emotions and other people's emotions. That's something I would need to work on. Like, I'm just like very non-emotional. I'm just like just chill, but happy but chill. Like I don't know. I just feel like growing up Asian, we're told to suppress our emotions. I never had that like experience in like being able
I mean, no,
to.
that's fair. That's fair. But I know you wanted to talk about, you had one other career that you want to talk about. And I want to get it in because I do have to jump in a little bit. So let's talk about
Yeah.
your last creator that you want to talk about.
hmm Yeah, I thought you had another one as well, but I
I
can
did, but I don't
quickly.
have. I don't think we're gonna have time, so we can run through yours because I think yours is a little bit
Okay.
better than mine.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I want to check out Tam's content too. I'm gonna dive into her stuff. Self help stuff. Yeah. Other creators. So, do you ever like how much do you spend a week on groceries? And do you I guess let me ask this again. Like when you think about grocery shopping, do you ever think about the ingredients and the health benefits of it?
So I am a price over ingredients person for the most part. Um, and what I mean by that is like I try and get the cheapest stuff typically. So like grass fed stuff, I don't think there's a big difference right now. So I just buy the cheapest meat, right? You could say it's chock full of antibiotics. I I've eaten so many bad things in my life that I think that that's the least of my worries, right? At least it's better than McDonald's, in my opinion. But to the point of grocery shopping, it has gotten so expensive. It is actually insane. Like I want to say, when did I graduate college? 2018, moved out around 2020. So COVID, me and Michelle, we could get away with $50 a week on groceries. So $200 a month.
Hmm.
That was kind of like our grocery budget for the two of us, which was really good. And now we are lucky if we can keep it under $400 a month. Again, I'm not like the super cheapest. Like we still eat very well. Like always trying to get a mixture of chicken, beef, pork, shrimp, whatever you want to call it, right? But we're not buying filet mignons or anything like that. And it has gotten crazy expensive. And I can't imagine how expensive it's gotten if you're like super health conscious with your food.
Mm. Yeah, I'm actually I try to be super health conscious too. I spend like the same amount actually, about $400 a month on just my own groceries. But I also live in California, and I try to get like healthy food. So probably spending like twice the amount you do, honestly. Um,
Fair. Yeah,
on
yeah,
groceries. I
yeah.
realize I do get. I don't buy meat though. Like I don't really like meat that much.
You
But I buy
spend that
like
much money without buying meat?
I always try to buy like I don't know. What do I even get? I get a little protein pasta, yogurts, fruits, vegetables, protein powder, frozen fruit, bread. Um, yeah. I also
Like, how
like
much is your
rarely eat out.
pasta?
Like $5 each. It
Okay,
lasts me
so
like
exactly.
one or
Okay, so yeah,
two, like two.
that's where it is, right? So your pasta's like $5, right? Mine's a dollar 10 cents,
Oh,
right?
I mean, I get the protein pasta because I feel like it's healthier.
No,
I
exactly. So
also,
you're getting your
yeah.
protein in other ways, right? So I would say meat is probably at least 50% of our expenses when it comes to groceries.
Whoa. I only if I get meat, it's only like canned tuna or something because I don't like cooking meat. I don't like cooking meat at all.
That's crazy. I mean, I love meat.
I get
Pause.
tofu,
Tofu. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
tofu yogurt. Yeah, almonds. A lot. I feel like nuts are almonds are low key kind of expensive. It's like $10 each, and like protein
They gotten
cereal.
crazy expensive.
Yeah, and that's literally why like protein cereal, nuts, protein pasta. Oh my god, my proteins are so like probably like the same price as your meat, but like not meat.
So, okay, I know you want to dive into the creator, but like,
Yes.
what is, do you feel like it's different to getting your protein or whatever vitamin in the world, right? Nutrient, whatever you want to call it. Do you think it's different from getting it via meat or via a protein pasta?
Probably via meat is better because it's less processed.
Okay, fair.
But I just like don't like cooking meat at all. It's like so messy. It smells bad. The raw meat. I don't like handling. I don't like dealing with that. And I also like don't really
I love
like.
cooking.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's good. That's good. I learned how to like make pasta and make eggs last month, so I just been like eating that almost every day.
Oh my God, Grace. Uh, okay, let's
But
dive into the
yeah,
creator
but
because I know
but
you.
speaking of groceries, have you seen Bobby Parrish's or Flav? He's go by Flav City's content on YouTube where he goes into
Is he the
Costco.
guy? Yeah, the Costco guy, right? Like he talks in a really distinct voice, and he's like in Costco, like this is Bobby approved or whatever, like he says or something like that.
Yeah, Bobby. So he's actually a really big creator. I feel like he's making like I can't find data online how much exactly he's making, but he has like 7 revenue streams just making money. All started from like I feel having like reviewing like popular brands food, like he also does reviews on like Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's foods, Sprouts groceries, like having like a recognizable brand and reviewing it brings like a wide, it's like a really good top of funnel. On top of it, he has like an app called Bobby Approved, which you can like scan. You can have any barcode and it'll tell you if it's Bobby approved and why it's not. I scanned my almonds when I was testing it out, and it said it was not Bobby approved. It has peanut oil. I'm like, what's peanut oil? I don't know. And like kind of like highly processed, highly inflammatory. I'm like, oh my god, my almonds. Oh my god, I need to like find different almonds. But Bobby, so how he actually makes money is he has a DTC brand, direct to consumer brand called Flav City, which is like functional beverages, protein powders, vitamins, health foods are like probably really trendy right now in the fitness and wellness space. And he doesn't like really promote it much on his YouTube. His YouTube is all like reviewing restaurant foods, reviewing like grocery store hauls, but his Instagram's all like recipe videos with his stuff. He also links Flav City into all of his captions, and his like channel. So his YouTube is like really top of funnel, like giving value, not just like shoving down promotions, but it's like really successfully directing people to that. And he also does a lot of like affiliate links, and his app is like it's like really easy to find Flav City. His affiliate links on his app, which is like a free product, but it's just like completely just giving value, but shoving in his own products and affiliate links, which is really smart. Um, he also does like a lot of TikTok shop and Amazon Live for his Flav City products too. He also has a cookbook on Amazon, like a keto cookbook he sells. He also did a food tour in Santorini, like a Bobby approved food tour. He does AdSense. So yeah, this guy, he's been amazing. Like he started with grocery store content. He's still doing grocery store content. Um, and he's expanded onto his own D2C brand, selling like health approved stuff, Bobby approved stuff. Um, and having like an app and just like a really great community. So I don't know. Shout out to Bobby.
This is insane. So I'm looking at I'm just looking up his app. So Bobby approved, right?
Yeah.
And so on Google Play it says over 500K downloads, which is insane. But
Wow.
on Apple, apparently he has over 111,000 reviews. So like that's got to be, I would imagine 1 in 10 people probably review an app, if not less than that stat. So this could be a million plus downloaded app, right? And so if he's getting affiliates from that, that is insane in terms of like if people are genuinely checking it on a regular basis. And the ratings are all like on Google, he's got an average of 4.8, and on Apple, he's got 4.9, which I think for an app is really good because most apps get bad reviews, I would say. Um, so especially like creator apps. So I mean, he's killing it, which is insane because it seems like a very simple product, if I'm being honest. Like
Hmm.
you just find the hype keywords and ingredients, put a little like button that says it's Bobby approved or not approved and why. So it doesn't seem like super complicated or anything, but I mean, he's killing it. That's crazy.
Wait, why do you think creator apps get bad reviews?
I think most creator apps are an afterthought, at least the ones that I've ever used. I haven't downloaded one in a while, but I feel like a lot of creator apps that I've used previously are very surface level and like it's not necessarily a cash grab, but it feels more of, hey, this brand hit me up to white label this app for you
Hmm.
for me. I'm gonna say yes to it. And don't get me wrong, like I've done it at Declassified too, not necessarily for an app, but like we did it for a job board that we were trying to use. I wonder if this company is actually still alive. Have you ever heard of Palette before?
Yeah, I was on Palette too.
Yeah, so I don't
It's not alive anymore.
No,
Palette dot.
did it die? That's sad.
Yeah, I was so sad. I was making a lot of money from Palette.
Yeah, so like we had a Palette job board, right? And it was just a white label job board. We didn't really try too much to put into it. It probably wasn't the greatest job board experience out there. And I would assume, or I would say, a lot of creator apps are probably something very similar. But clearly, this
Mm.
one with Bobby is not, and he's killing it. So shout out to
I
Bobby.
wonder what he did differently. It's like a simple app. It's like I feel like it's just focused on. It's not very. He doesn't put external ads on it. It's literally just his affiliate links and his Flav City stuff,
I feel
and
like it
it just
seems like
seems.
he tried. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things
Yeah.
that creators launch, they don't try. They just kind of launch it to launch it because someone hit them up about it,
Yep. Yeah.
which
Exactly.
sounds bad, but I think that's
It's true.
kind of true.
Yeah, that's why I launched my palette job board initially too. But and I ended up making a little money from palette, just like a lot of passive income. So I'm kind of sad they disappeared. I couldn't find a better alternative.
Yeah, I think they were the only one. I think they were like their plan was smart. Their business model, I think, could probably improve, but there's probably a world where something like that disrupts it. I just think their execution was probably not right.
Yeah, I wonder why they shut down. I'm so sad. But yeah, shout out to Bobby. I'm gonna use his app and I'm gonna scan all my groceries with it. And just making sure I don't have any seed oil. I learned about seed oils. Apparently it's bad. I don't know why it's bad, but my LA friends say it's bad, so they're bad.
I feel like everything in my pantry is going to be marked as bad. It's not organic enough. It's got too many seed oils. I feel like this whole space too, the more that you learn, the more that you just feel like bad about what you eat, which is interesting. And I'm excited to travel to Europe for my honeymoon because apparently I've never been to Europe, so I don't know. But every time that I've traveled outside the country, especially like to Asia, I typically can eat whatever I want and I don't feel bloated. I don't feel bad. I don't typically gain weight or anything like that. And apparently it's like that, especially in Europe. And it's crazy because especially like Italy, In France, like you're eating a lot of pasta and bread, which in the US would mean that you're gaining a lot of weight just because of carbs. But apparently, people lose weight even though they tend to eat more over there on vacation. So who knows what's actually in our food? I don't know. That's why I don't really care too much about like the groceries that I buy, so to say, as long as it tastes good. Um, but I'm really interested to see how this Europe trip goes because I will definitely be eating a lot. And I hope that it's true that you don't feel like bloated or anything like that.
It is true. I spent months in Europe, and it is true, especially
But like it
Italy.
makes no sense though.
Mhm. Maybe because like we're also walking a lot. I feel like I'm like walking and sweating out a lot more, like burning it off, kind of. That's probably why. That's what I suspect. It's much warmer there, and I definitely
That is
walk way more, run way more there than I do in the U.S.
that's fair. But yeah, I don't know. Apparently everyone that I've talked to is like, you don't feel bloated over there. You can eat whatever you want and you don't feel bad. And I'm just like, dang, is our food really that bad in the US that if you go out to eat, like you're probably gonna feel bloated? Um,
Yeah,
but I don't know.
actually, I try not to go to restaurants that much. I only go to restaurants if I'm like meeting up with a friend or it's a group dinner, business purposes, social purposes. But I would never go on my own to eat at a restaurant. Never. I also save a lot of money by not going to restaurants.
For sure. Same. I rarely eat out unless it's again like a group gathering or me and Michelle want to go out on a little date or something like that. But it's it's crazy because when you do go out and you get some food and you feel heavy a lot of
Hmm.
times. Even if you try and eat healthy stuff, right? Like kava or whatever, you still feel a little heavy, I feel, after you eat it. Um, but I don't know. That's the world we live in. Shout out to USA. Shout out to capitalism.
Yeah, shout out to canola oil on set. I learned canola oil is really bad too, and I realized everything has canola oil in it. I was like, oh shit, I can't eat anything anymore.
It's
That's
not
another thing
Bobby
I
approved.
learned. Huh?
I said it's not Bobby approved.
Not Bobby proof at all. But I'm gonna scan everything in our pantry now just to see. It also like you can scan. So Bobby also expanded beyond food. He does like shampoo, hair care products, cleaning products to see if they're Bobby approved too. So I'm gonna scan everything I have in my house now to see if it's Bobby approved. I also feel like low key another way to make money for Bobby is to have like a trademark kind of. It's just kind of how food labels like non-GMO FDA approved.
Mm,
Brands could pay like Bobby to get the Bobby approved stamp. I think that's up next. What do
that
you
could
think?
be really interesting. I like
Mm-hmm.
it.
I'm a
Apparently, it's like
creator.
a big business model. I heard this somewhere. I forgot where. But apparently it's a really big business model for all like the big buildings to get like the efficiency approval or whatever. Like I forget what it's like actually called, but like the energy efficiency
Oh.
approval.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge business for the one company that like basically created it. And so I wonder if Bobby approved could just become the new like non-GMO or whatever you want to call it, like label. I don't know how that would work, but that could be a really interesting play though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like restaurants have like health rank or like cleanliness rankings. I look at that a lot. I make sure it's A before I go inside.
You imagine if like he just trademarks restaurants that these are Bobby approved and these aren't. And it's like any big corporation restaurant is just not Bobby approved just because they try and cut all the corners that they can to save money and improve shareholder wealth. But
It's happening
yeah, I
in
don't know.
Singapore right now actually. Something similar is um so they have like a health ranking A B C D F. And the health ranking of like all consumer packaged goods in Singapore have that label. And
Have what label?
like a ranking A B C D F. A is good, F is bad. The more sugar it has, the worse it is. And the more processed it is, the worse it is. Um, and I remember just like I look at a drink, it looks good. I look at a label D, I'll put it back on the shelf. So I only buy if it's like A ranking. I'll
Oh,
look at I
interesting.
feel like Singapore food regulations. Like Singapore is like a really strict government. Oh yes, they have this who's that nutrition guide. I
I mean, I
guess low
think that's
sugar. Yeah.
smart.
Mm-hmm. Nutrition guide and percent sugar. Yeah, A, B, C, D. Yeah, so they like do have that. They have this in Korea too, I believe. So it is pretty smart. So that's I feel like Bobby approved. I feel like I don't know. Bobby approved could be a trademark or like a label, like a Bobby like a certification food brands could do
Yeah,
too in
that'd be
America.
really interesting if you could pull that off. All right. Anything else? I gotta jump, but anything else on Bobby before we close out this episode?
I think that's it from me. Great chat.
Yeah, that was great. Hopefully this episode is Bobby approved, but I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Bye.